All right, we're going over the CodingBat here called count7. We want to do this with recursion. Obviously, we could do it with a loop too, but we want to practice our recursive call, so we're going to call this method again at some point. So I always think of it in terms of, again, the base case and the recursive step. All right, so sorry I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but if you haven't done this already, try it first. All right, see if you can get this on your own before watching the solution. All right, anyway, so the base case I would say is kind of the idea is we're going to loop through the digits, and just like they describe in here, we can get the rightmost digit doing mod 10, and then basically we're going to check if that is a 7 or not and increase a count variable. Okay, and then after that you're going to do divide by 10 because that'll chop this off. So if I divide 717 by 10, I'll get 71.7, which will just chop off the 7 with integer truncation, and then we'll just recall the method with 71. Okay, and then when we run it with 71, we'll get the last digit 1, check if it's 7, and then again divide by 10, which will give us 7.1, which will chop off the 1, just give us 7, then we recall the method with 7. When we do mod 10 there, it'll just give us a 7 again, and then we'll divide it by 10, at which point we'll get 0. So that's going to be kind of our stopping point, is each time we divide by 10, once we run out of digits, that'll happen when we hit, when we get 0. Like on this last digit here, we'll check it to be a 7, and then when we divide by 10, we'll get 0.1, which will just truncate to 0. Okay, so kind of our base case is going to be if the method is called with n of 0, then we're just going to return, right, like how many 7s are there in that number? Well, there's none. Right, so if it's 0, then we have no more 7s to count. Okay, and probably the hardest part about this is like you'd think we'd have to make a count variable, like and set it to 0 or something like that. That's how you do it with a loop. But in here, we're just gonna make a string, not a string, but like a run of a count. So like when the method is called here with 717, maybe I'll type it out. When we call it with 717, what I want to do is I want to get the last 7, and that's going to be a 1. So I'm going to do 1 plus recall the method with the 71. Okay, and then when we recall it with 71, I'll already have this 1 plus, and then it's going to, like, when I run count 7 of 71, it's going to take this digit, which isn't a 7, so that's going to return 0 plus recall the method with count 7 with just that last number. Okay, and then that's going to just keep increasing what's in our running sum, I guess, if you want to call it. So then count 7 is going to be a 1, so that's we're going to turn 1 plus count 7 of 0, right? And then that'll just return a 0, and then we'll add all these up, and that'll get us how many 7s there are. Okay, so we don't really need a count variable. We're going to like keep track of it by generating this sum this way. Okay, so anyways, on the else here, what we need to do is just get the rightmost digit. So I'm going to do int digit, and that I'm going to do mod 10. So I'm going to do n mod 10. Okay, and then I'm going to do if that digit equals 7, if it's a 7, then I'm going to return 1 plus recall the method, so count 7, but I'm going to chop off the last digit by doing divide 10. Okay, so I'm going to make it one step simpler by dividing 10. Since we've checked that last digit here, I don't need it anymore, so I'm going to recall it that way. And then, I'm going to go else if it's not a 7, then I just want to return, I guess I could just call count 7 and divided by 10, but I guess to make it clear, I'll do it like that. So we're just going to say, well, we didn't have a 7 here, and then I'm going to count the 7s in the remaining part, in the remaining digits of the number. So that hopefully will work. So we're going to cross our fingers, close our eyes, do a little dance, and okay, looks like everything passed okay. So there you go. Kind of a little different, but this digit, like looping through the digits by doing mod 10 and divide by 10, super common on the AP test. All right, thank you for watching.